Chasing History, Stories Behind Lost Legends, has a gift for finding the stories we collectively agreed to look away from, and then looking directly at them anyway. Friends, between 1945 and the 1960s, the U.S. government welcomed over 1,500 German scientists and engineers through Project Paperclip. Their mission? To work on cutting-edge projects like guided missiles, jet and rocket engines, aerodynamics, aerospace medicine, and submarine technology. The hope was that these experts would provide a competitive edge in the aftermath of World War II and throughout the Cold War. As time went on, many of these German specialists seamlessly integrated into American military, industrial, and academic roles, often vanishing into the fabric of U.S. innovation. The downside to this endeavor? Many of these scientists and engineers had deep ties to the Nazi regime, with some being members of the Nazi Party, SS, or SA officers. Disturbingly, several had even played roles in overseeing the atrocities committed in concentration camps. The setup. What is Operation Paperclip? In the aftermath of World War II, the U.S. found itself in a bit of a pickle. The war was over, but another one was cresting on the horizon, the Cold War. On July 19, 1945, the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff launched Operation OVERCAST to kickstart the American military's pursuit of advanced rocket technology. Supervised by the Department of War's Assistant Chief of Staff, G2, the initiative was initially aimed at hastening the end of the Pacific War. To achieve this, G2 turned to its Alsos personnel, who compiled a list of German experts deemed essential for leveraging and enhancing Germany's rocketry advancements. The Alsos teams, made up of Army intelligence officers and U.S. citizen scientists, had been active in Europe since 1943, tracking down and capturing key individuals, facilities, and materials of scientific interest. Once selected, the German scientists and technicians were assembled at Fort Standish, later renamed Fort Strong, in Boston Harbor, where they remained under military custody for processing and interrogation. Where did we hide them? As post-war downsizing led to the closure of Fort Strong, the scientists were relocated to Fort Hunt, Virginia, codenamed P.O. Box 1142, and then to Mitchell Field, New York. Faced with a personnel shortage in G2, by 1947 a small liaison team was established at the Army's New York port of embarkation to meet incoming scientists, process them at Mitchell Field, and assign them to their new roles. In total, thousands of German scientists and engineers were interviewed by Army interrogators, resulting in short-term employment contracts for over 600 technical specialists. These experts went on to work at various Army, Air Force, and Navy installations across the U.S., including Fort Bliss in Texas, Redstone Arsenal in Alabama, and Wright Field in Ohio. Who came to dinner? Let's take a look at some of the special guests who made their way to the U.S. courtesy of Operation Paperclip. Wernher von Braun. Wernher von Braun had quite the resume. A party member, SS officer, and casually involved in the grim production of missiles using concentration camp labor. Just a regular day at the office for him and a few of his associates. The U.S. Army, in a stunning display of selective memory, decided to keep those little details classified and whisked von Braun and about 125 of his colleagues off to Fort Bliss, just outside El Paso, Texas. There, these German experts helped Americans launch V-2 rockets, while also being handed the delightful task of developing an experimental cruise missile, because, nothing says "Welcome to America" like missile development. By 1950, von Braun's team was relocated to Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama, where they became the beating heart of the Army's nuclear-armed ballistic missile program. In his downtime, von Braun transformed into a media darling, passionately advocating for spaceflight in magazines and on TV, to include a Disney appearance, because if you're going to have a dark past, you might as well sell some hope for the future, right? Then, in a plot twist worthy of a Hollywood script after the Soviets launched Sputnik in October 1957. Von Braun and his now thousand-strong German-led team, most of whom were naturalized Americans, helped launch the first U.S. satellite Explorer 1. By 1960, von Braun's division of the Army Ballistic Missile Agency was handed off to NASA, a shiny new civilian space agency. The Huntsville Germans, many of whom were freshly minted as American citizens in 1954 to 1955, went on to spearhead the development of the Saturn rockets that ultimately took Americans to the moon in 1969. Walter Paul Emil Schreiber was a German medical officer and brigadier general in the Wehrmacht Medical Service, known for his expertise in epidemiology. Despite his involvement in Nazi-era human experimentation, he was brought to the United States under Operation Paperclip. Side note, Schreiber played a notable role as a witness against Hermann Göring at the Nuremberg trials before defecting from the Soviet zone to work for the U.S. military. Schreiber faced serious accusations regarding his involvement in unethical medical experiments on concentration camp prisoners, including those at Ravensbrück and Dachau. He was alleged to have assigned doctors to carry out these experiments and authorized funding for them. After escaping Soviet captivity, he worked for the U.S. Counterintelligence Corps at Camp King as the camp physician for the POW interrogation camp in Oberursel, Germany. In 1951, Schreiber was brought to the United States with his wife, son, a daughter, and mother-in-law through Operation Paperclip, where he contributed to the U.S. Air Force School of Aviation Medicine at Randolph Air Force Base in Texas. However, following a 1952 New York Times report and subsequent public outcry linking him to Nazi war crimes, the U.S. Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency arranged for his departure, leading him to emigrate to Argentina. Hubertus Strughold. Known as the father of space medicine, Strughold made significant contributions at the U.S. Air Force School of Aerospace Medicine and at NASA, focusing on spacesuits and environmental safety. However, his legacy is shadowed by heavy criticism for his involvement in Nazi medical experiments during World War II. He participated in a 1942 conference that delved into human experiments at the Dachau concentration camp, where inmates were subjected to gruesome, lethal freezing and low-pressure tests. In these chilling experiments, primarily Polish and Soviet POWs, humans were locked inside a portable pressure chamber constructed by the Luftwaffe, designed to simulate the effects of free falling from high altitudes without oxygen. Out of the 200 test subjects involved, a staggering 80 were killed outright by the experiments, while the remainder met their grim fate at the hands of the SS. After relocating to the U.S. as part of Operation Paperclip, Strughold was hired by the U.S. Air Force, where he helped launch a rhesus monkey into space and worked on pressurization systems for astronauts. During his tenure with the U.S. Air Force and NASA, Strughold was the focus of 3 separate U.S. government investigations regarding his suspected involvement in war crimes committed during the Nazi regime. 1958 investigation. The Justice Department conducted an investigation that ultimately found no derogatory information against him, fully exonerating Strughold. 1974 inquiry. A second investigation by the Immigration and Naturalization Service was launched but later abandoned for lack of evidence. 1983 reopening. The Office of Special Investigations reopened his case after several years, but withdrew from the effort following Strughold's death. After he passed away on September 25, 1986, Strughold's alleged connections to the Dachau experiments became more widely recognized, especially after the release of U.S. Army intelligence documents from 1945, which identified him as one of those sought by U.S. authorities as war criminals. the impact on U.S. science and medicine. Now, let's get to the juicy part. How did these former Nazis influence American science and medicine? Rocket science. Operation Paperclip had a profound impact on rocket science, particularly through the contributions of renowned scientists like Wernher von Braun. These experts brought with them advanced knowledge of propulsion systems and rocket design, which significantly accelerated the United States' space program. Their expertise in developing and launching V-2 rockets during World War II translated into key advancements for American missile technology and space exploration. This foundational work laid the groundwork for the development of the Redstone and Saturn rockets, which ultimately enabled landmark missions, including the Apollo moon landings. In addition to technical expertise, the integration of these scientists into American aerospace initiatives fostered a culture of innovation and collaboration within NASA and the broader defense community. Their experience with high-stakes projects and complex engineering challenges helped streamline processes and improve project outcomes. By leveraging its skills, the U.S. not only advanced its military capabilities, but also asserted itself as a leader in space exploration during the Cold War. The successful deployment of satellites and human spaceflight missions, culminating in the moon landing, stands as a testament to the critical role these scientists played in shaping the future of rocket science and aerospace technology. So next time you look at the moon, just remember, there's a Nazi's fingerprints on that lunar module. Medical advancements. The knowledge gained from unethical experiments allowed the U.S. to advance in trauma medicine and aerospace medicine. While the ethical implications raise eyebrows, advancements in these fields cannot be denied. It's like using a cheat code in a video game. Morally questionable, but hey, you beat the level. Some scientists played a key role in developing vaccines and treatments for infectious diseases by utilizing insights gained from wartime research. They made significant advances in understanding drug interactions and therapies, especially in high-stress situations like military operations. There were also innovations in trauma care and emergency procedures that enhanced survival rates for combat injuries, along with improvements in field medical practices, including quicker assessment and treatment methods for wounded soldiers. Military technology. Researchers contributed to advancements in jet propulsion, radar systems, and aerospace engineering, significantly improving aircraft performance and combat readiness. The development of new materials and manufacturing techniques also enhanced the durability and efficiency of military equipment. As a result, the U.S. military was better equipped to face emerging threats, ensuring a technological edge that would define its strategic posture for decades. It's almost like a twisted version of the A-Team, where the bad guys become the heroes. Yet another delightful innovation we can thank Operation Paperclip for is modern helicopter technology. Sure, there were prototypes before World War II, but it was Anton Flettner who really took the idea and spun it into something that could actually fly. Under Common's watchful eye, Flettner helped create the iconic HH-43 Husky, which became a star of the Vietnam War. Because nothing screams victory quite like a flying machine that could drop in with style amidst chaos. Cayman Aircraft is still around, and guess what? Their intermeshing rotor helicopters are still among their biggest exports, proving that some innovations are just too good to fly away. Oh, and let's not forget Flettner's Flettner motor. This quirky contraption was designed to boost transport vessels, and now it's being considered for sustainable shipping. Other advancements. Another gem we can credit to Operation Paperclip is the PN junction. Yes, that little slice of genius is at the heart of everything from transistors to integrated circuits, making it one of the most pivotal inventions in electrical engineering. So, in a way, you can thank a few ex-Nazis for your LED lights, because nothing says progress quite like illuminating your home with the remnants of questionable ethical decisions. Another charming invention that sprang from Operation Paperclip is the dot matrix printer. Yes, you heard that right. Brought to life by Fritz Karl Preichstadt, this relic still clunks along today, though mainly in the depths of dusty storage rooms. A real multitasker, Preichstadt also dabbled in hybrid cars, inventing an early version of regenerative braking systems, and while he snagged a patent, his design was never prototyped or commercialized. The moral dilemma. Let's not sugarcoat it. The U.S. was making some seriously questionable choices by recruiting these scientists. The ethical implications of using knowledge gained from horrific acts are enough to keep you up at night. But in the grand scheme of things, the ends justified the means, right? Or at least that's what they told themselves while sipping coffee in their Pentagon offices. While the government may have convinced itself that technological advancements justified moral compromises, this rationalization sets a troubling precedent. Ethics can be sidelined in the name of national security. By employing former Nazis, the government risked alienating the very citizens it aimed to protect. If the public had been fully aware of these scientists' pasts, it could have led to widespread outrage and a significant decline in trust towards the government. Americans were kept in the dark about the backgrounds of these scientists, raising ethical concerns about transparency and accountability. The lack of disclosure reflects a broader issue of government responsibility to its citizens. Investigations often shielded these individuals from accountability, as seen in the 1958 Justice Department inquiry that exonerated Strughold despite his connections to war crimes. This selective approach underscores a troubling willingness to prioritize expediency over justice. The government's decision to withhold or downplay information regarding these scientists' pasts further complicates the ethical landscape. The delayed release of documents revealing their involvement in Nazi atrocities reflects an effort to maintain a favorable narrative. Final thoughts. The legacy of Operation Paperclip serves as a stark reminder of the moral complexities inherent in national security decisions. While it may have led to significant technological and military advancements, it also raises critical ethical questions about accountability, human rights, and the lengths to which governments will go to achieve their goals. In the end, we welcomed some of the brightest and darkest minds into our scientific community, proving that sometimes history is stranger than fiction. So, as we marvel at our technological achievements, let's raise a glass to the morally ambiguous past that helped shape our present. Here's to science, where the lines between good and evil are often as blurred as the ethics behind them. What do you think? Did Operation Paperclip go too far? Or was it a necessary evil for progress? Let me know your thoughts. Until next time, keep reading and stay caffeinated. For those who want to explore more, check out our Germans, Project Paperclip and the National Security State, exploring the vicious bureaucratic rivalries that erupted over the wisdom, efficacy, and morality of pursuing paperclip. Our Germans reveals how some paperclip proponents and scientists influenced the perception of the rival Soviet threat by volunteering inflated estimates of Russian intentions and technical capabilities.